The medbay of Thera-9 space station hummed with soft blue light. Machines blinked quietly, scanning, beeping, whispering in an alien tongue. Inside, Nurse Vera stood still, her 4 slender fingers trembling slightly. Her silver eyes focused on the holographic body floating before her. A human male, unconscious, burned and broken. It was her first time treating one. Humans were rare here. Most of them stayed close to the inner colonies, too far from the Aurelian Empire. But this one, Eli Grant, as the rescue log said, had crashed near the mining rings. His shuttle was half melted, his body barely alive when the patrol found him. Now, under Vera's care, he lay pale and still on the medical bed. Vera swallowed hard. Her transparent medical mask shifted with her breath. "Initiate full scan," she ordered softly. The Med-AI chirped to life, lines of alien text sliding across the screen. Analyzing human anatomy, comparing to database, alert, multiple unknown patterns detected. Her silver brows pulled together. "Unknown?" She leaned closer. The scan highlighted an area around the man's lower body, a bright, pulsing red light. The AI's voice turned urgent. "Severe inflammation detected. Core temperature unstable. Possible organ failure imminent." Her heart raced. She'd studied human physiology only through old data, simple things like their dual hearts and fluid balance. But this region she had no reference for. "Assistants," she called. 2 smaller Aurelians floated in, both wearing thin armor suits. One held sterilizers, the other a surgical wand. "What happened?" one asked. "The human's lower organ is reacting abnormally," Vera said, trying to stay calm. "It may be spreading infection." Her assistant frowned. That much heat could mean cell corruption. "Shall we remove it?" Vera hesitated. She looked at the screen again. The red zone pulsed faster, matching his heartbeat. Could it be an infection? She thought, or something else? She didn't know, but she knew she couldn't let him die on her first human patient. "Prepare for emergency isolation," she ordered. "We'll attempt a neutralizer flush." As her assistants moved quickly, Vera lifted a glowing probe. It shimmered with green light as she brought it near his body. The temperature reading spiked higher, then suddenly the human moved. Eli's eyes fluttered open. For a moment, confusion and fear clouded his gaze. "Where am I?" he whispered. Vera froze mid-motion. "You are safe," she said, her voice calm but tight. "You are injured. We are helping." Eli looked around, blinking at the floating figures, the glowing walls, the unfamiliar machines. "Oh, aliens," he muttered. Then his eyes widened as he saw the probe hovering near him. "Wait, what are you doing?" "Your lower organ is inflamed," she said earnestly. "We must neutralize the infection before it spreads." His face went red instantly. "Well, what? No. That's not an infection." The assistants exchanged confused looks. "He is resisting treatment," one said. "Should we restrain him?" Eli tried to sit up, wincing in pain. "Listen, it's not what you think. I'm fine, really." But the AI interrupted again. "Critical temperature detected. Emergency recommended," Vera frowned. The readings didn't lie, or so she thought. "You are in danger," she insisted. "Please stay still." She moved the probe closer. Eli's voice rose with panic. "You don't understand, it's just normal." "Normal?" she echoed. "Yes." He groaned. "It happens when I'm nervous or, oh God, this is so awkward." Vera blinked, puzzled. The translator struggled with his slang. "You experience random body heat when emotional?" He covered his face with one hand. "Something like that, yeah." Her assistants whispered to each other. "Maybe it's a human defense mechanism?" one guessed. "Or mutation?" Vera's curiosity overcame her fear. She paused the probe and examined the readings. The red glow pulsed steadily now, but his vitals were stabilizing. Strange. If it were an infection, it should have worsened. She dismissed her assistants for a moment and leaned closer. "Human Eli," she said gently. "You feel pain," he sighed. "Only in my pride." She didn't understand the joke, but she noticed the way his breathing calmed. His temperature normalized. Her instrument slowly faded from red to orange, then yellow. I don't think you are dying," she whispered finally. He gave a weak laugh. "Glad to hear that." The tension slowly broke. For a moment she allowed herself to study him closely. The roughness of his skin, the color of his eyes, the faint scars on his arms. Everything about him seemed raw and imperfect, yet strong. so different from her smooth, flawless kind. You humans, she murmured, are full of surprises. Eli smiled faintly. You have no idea. Hours passed. The medbay dimmed to night mode. The assistants had gone, leaving only the nurse and the patient. Vera sat by the scanner, reviewing his data. Everything looked strange compared to standard biology. Even his heartbeats followed no steady rhythm, rising and falling with emotions she couldn't measure. Her curiosity deepened. She tapped a few controls, recording new notes. Subject, human male. Displays unpredictable emotional biological reactions. Initial assumption of infection, incorrect. Requires deeper study. She looked over at him again. He was awake now, watching her quietly. You keep staring at the monitor, he said. Am I really that strange? You are unique, she said. Your body reacts to emotion. Your organs shift, your temperature changes. Even your eyes alter color. We Aurelians are constant. Nothing changes in us unless we will it. He tilted his head.
So you don't feel?
We feel, but not like you. Not with the body. Only with thought, he smiled softly. That sounds lonely. Her chest tightened. She didn't know why that word affected her. Lonely. No Aurelian had ever said it before. She turned away, pretending to check the vitals. We are not lonely, she said quietly. We are balanced. But as the night stretched, she couldn't stop thinking about that word. Later, she adjusted the healing field around his bed. The glowing dome of blue light covered him completely. He closed his eyes, relaxing finally. Yet Vera couldn't rest. The Med AI replayed the earlier incident on the monitor. The spike, the false inflammation alert. She froze, watching the image of the red pulse again. It wasn't just heat, it was rhythm. Like a heartbeat. Or emotion itself. Could it be that human biology was connected to feelings? She whispered softly, emotion, as life. A quiet voice came from the bed. Talking to yourself, Doc? She turned, startled. He grinned weakly. Sorry, couldn't sleep. You should rest, she said. You are healing fast. Guess you're good at your job, he said lightly. Even if you almost operated on me. Her cheeks flushed faintly. A rare reaction for her species. It was misunderstanding, she murmured. He chuckled. Yeah, let's call it that. For the first time in her career, Vera felt something unfamiliar. Embarrassment. She didn't know what to do with it, so she changed the subject. Tomorrow I will request permission to continue studying your biology. Study me? He asked. Yes, to prevent future confusion. He laughed softly. Sure, nurse, just no more glowing probes, all right? She gave a small nod, though she didn't fully understand his humor. Still, something about his laughter eased her. It was warm, human warmth, not the sterile calm of the Aurelians. When the lights dimmed further and the hum of machines softened, Vera stood at the glass window of the medbay, looking out into the vast sea of stars. Behind her, the human slept peacefully, chest rising and falling in steady rhythm. She whispered to herself, he was supposed to be a patient. Why does he feel like a mystery? The stars reflected in her silver eyes as the AI logged her final note of the night. Observation. Human condition remains stable. Cause of earlier anomaly unknown. Emotional resonance between species. Increasing. And somewhere deep in her calm alien heart, Vera felt something she had never felt before. Curiosity mixed with an emotion she couldn't yet name. Morning light from the gas giant's reflection spilled through the glass walls of the medbay. The pale glow made everything look softer, quieter. But inside Nurse Vera's chest, nothing felt calm. She had not slept. All night, her mind replayed the same scene, the false alert, the human's strange warmth, his laughter. The more she thought about it, the more questions rose in her heart. How could emotions change the body like that? Was it a kind of power? When she arrived for her next shift, her supervisor, Medic Toller, was already waiting. His long blue face looked stern as always. Nurse Vera, he said coldly, the council heard about your mistake. Her throat tightened. Mistake? You almost operated on a sentient ambassador's guest without consent. His golden eyes narrowed. Humans are under special observation. You have caused attention we don't need. Vera bowed her head. I apologize, Master Toller. I acted to save a life. Toller crossed his arms. Ignorance is no defense. The Council of Biology is sending inspectors. Until then, you will limit contact with the human. Her heart sank. Limit contact? But Eli was her patient. His vitals still needed checking. Sir, he is stable but weak. He may require further. Toller interrupted sharply. No arguments. Your access is now under review. He walked away, leaving her staring at the cold white floor. For the first time in her service, Vera felt something burn inside. Frustration, perhaps even anger. Inside the isolation room, Eli Grant sat up slowly. The medical gown felt strange against his skin. He could see alien symbols floating in the air, softly glowing around his bed. The machines hummed like whispers. When Vera entered, he smiled tiredly. "Morning, nurse. Did I survive the night?" "You did," she said, forcing a faint smile. "Though not everyone believes you are safe." He frowned. "What do you mean?" "There are rumors. Some think you carry a parasite or new disease." Eli blinked. "Seriously? From that? Oh, man." He rubbed his face. "I swear, every alien who meets a human for the first time thinks we're cursed." Vera looked uncertain. "You are different. Your emotions affect your biology." He chuckled softly. "You noticed that, huh?" "Yeah. Humans get reactions when they're embarrassed, scared, angry, or sometimes just alive." "Alive?" she repeated, puzzled. "Yeah," he said with a shrug. "It's part of being human. We feel everything. Our bodies follow our hearts." His words struck her deeply. Bodies follow hearts. She looked down, touching her chest, as if searching for that same connection. Before she could answer, the door hissed open. 2 armored guards stepped in, followed by a floating drone bearing a crimson seal. The drone spoke. "By order of the Council of Biology, Subject Eli Grant is to be quarantined for possible contamination. Nurse Vera Lassar, you are relieved of duty." Eli's eyes widened. "Wait, what? Quarantined?" Vera stepped forward. "He is not infected. His vitals are stable, his blood clean." The guard raised a plasma baton. "Step back, nurse." For a moment, silence hung like a blade. The faint hum of machines filled the air. Then Vera did something unexpected. She stood in front of Eli's bed, shielding him with her slim body. "You will not take him," she said softly. "He is my patient." The guards froze, unsure. No one ever defied a council order. The drone repeated louder. "Compliance required. Stand down or face suspension." Eli whispered. "Vera, don't. I'm not worth your job." She didn't move. "You are worth understanding." The guards hesitated, then slowly lowered their batons. "We'll report your disobedience," one said, and the group left. The door hissed shut again. Vera exhaled shakily, her whole body trembling. Eli looked at her with quiet amazement. "You just risked your career for me." "I could not let them harm you without reason," she said. "But now, I may be in danger too." Later, as alarms sounded faintly in the distance, Vera guided Eli through a service corridor. He moved slowly, still weak, but determined. "Where are we going?" he asked. "Somewhere they will not look," she said. "An unused lab below the bio wing." They slipped through dim hallways lit by red emergency lights. Every corner hummed with machinery. The air smelled of antiseptic and electricity. Finally, she opened a metal door. Inside was a small lab filled with dust-covered instruments. She activated the lights. "This place is not connected to central systems," she explained. "We can hide here while I study your data properly." Eli sat on a crate, breathing hard. "Study me? Again?" Her eyes softened. "I need to prove you are not dangerous. Only then will they let you go." He nodded slowly. "All right. But maybe I can help. Humans are good at explaining ourselves. Sometimes." That made her smile a little. It was the first genuine smile he'd seen from her. Hours passed. She scanned his blood, his heart, his neural signals. Each reading confused her more. Human chemistry reacted like weather. Calm one moment, stormy the next. When he laughed, his pulse changed. When he remembered home, his brain lit up with color. Vera watched in awe. Your body and emotion are one. He grinned. Exactly. We're messy, but that's what keeps us alive. She looked thoughtful. Aurelians separated emotion from the body long ago. We control our hearts. You. Let yours control you. He shrugged. Maybe that's why we survive the hard stuff. Feelings hurt, but they push us forward. Her gaze lingered on him, quietly studying his face. That is beautiful, she whispered. He smiled faintly. Didn't expect a nurse to call me beautiful. She blinked, unsure if she had insulted him or not. I meant your words. I know, he said softly, still smiling. As night fell again, the tension in the station grew. Council ships docked above. Announcements echoed through the corridors. Containment protocols active. Unauthorized personnel will be detained. Vera looked at the monitors nervously. They are coming for you, Eli sighed. Then we should end this study quick. She turned to him, eyes bright with resolve. I have an idea. If I can send your biological data to the Galactic Medical Corps, they will see the truth. They will stop the quarantine. He nodded. Do it. But as she began to upload the data, a red warning appeared on the screen. Transmission blocked. Council override engaged. They've cut the network, she whispered. They don't want the truth to spread. Footsteps echoed outside. Voices approached. Eli stood shakily. Guess they found us. Vera grabbed a small plasma injector, a harmless tool but looked like a weapon. Stay behind me. The door burst open. Medic Toller entered with soldiers. His voice was cold. You have broken direct orders, nurse. Step away from the human. She faced him. He is not infected. Look at the data. The data is irrelevant. The council has decided. Contamination risk too high. Eli took a step forward. You're making a mistake. A guard raised his weapon. Vera moved fast, standing between them again. If you harm him, you harm a sentient being who did nothing wrong. Toller's face hardened. You let emotion cloud your logic. You are dismissed. Vera's voice trembled but stayed strong. Maybe logic is not enough anymore. She grabbed Eli's arm and activated the emergency lift control. A flash of blue light surrounded them. The hidden teleporter she had repaired earlier. Before anyone could react, both disappeared in a beam of white fire. They reappeared on the surface of Thera 9, outside the main dome. Wind roared across a red plain of alien sand. Above them, the twin moons glowed faintly through a violet sky. Eli fell to his knees, gasping. Where are we? Outside station limits, she said. They will not follow immediately. Radiation levels are low for now. He looked up at her, the alien nurse who had risked everything. You didn't have to do this. She looked toward the horizon where the stars flickered. I did, because what they fear is what they do not understand. You showed me something different. He smiled weakly. Human stubbornness? She shook her head. Human heart. For a moment, silence filled the alien night. The wind carried soft dust around them like golden snow. Somewhere far above, alarms continued to sound inside the station. But down here, two beings from different worlds sat side by side, unsure of what would happen next. Vera looked at the human, the strange warmth she once feared now reflected in her own chest. Eli, she said softly, I think I understand your inflammation now. He laughed faintly. Yeah? What's your diagnosis, doctor? Her voice was calm, but her eyes shimmered. You call it feeling. Cold wind swept over the red plains of Thera 9, carrying the scent of iron dust and distant storms. The twin moons shone above, throwing pale light on the two figures huddled beside a wrecked supply pod. Vera. The alien nurse wrapped a thermal cloak around Eli Grant. His skin was pale, his breath slow but steady. The crash wounds had healed, but exhaustion and dehydration still haunted him. "You must rest," she said softly. Eli smiled weakly. "You say that every 5 minutes. I'm a nurse," she replied. "It is my purpose," he chuckled, voice low. "And what's your purpose now? Saving a fugitive?" Her silver eyes flickered in the moonlight. Maybe saving more than that. They had been hiding for 2 days in the lower canyons. Above them, the Aurelian Council searched the skies with drones, still convinced Eli carried a contagious emotional disorder. The Council couldn't understand that what frightened them wasn't disease, it was feeling itself. Vera spent her hours studying the data she copied from the medbay before they fled. Every reading told the same truth. Human biology reacted to emotional energy. Fear, kindness, affection, courage. Each emotion caused physical changes, not harm. It healed, it protected. It made Eli stronger, not weaker. She looked at him now, his chest rising and falling under the glowing starlight. His body fights not with logic, she thought, but with emotion. Her datapad blinked suddenly. "Energy signal detected," it announced. She frowned. "Someone is coming." The sound reached them before the light, a low hum in the distance like thunder. Then a silver transport hovered over the ridge, its engines glowing blue. Vera's pulse raced. "It's them," Eli said. "Your people?" She nodded slowly. "They found us," he stood up, weak but determined. "Then let's not make it easy." "No," she said quickly. "Fighting will only prove their fears." The craft landed nearby. From its ramp emerged Medic Toller with a group of soldiers in shimmering armor. The desert wind whipped around them as Toller shouted, "Vera Lassar, you are charged with medical corruption, data theft, and aiding a dangerous organism." Eli smirked faintly. "Organism, huh? That's a new one." Vera stepped forward, holding her tablet high. "He is not dangerous. The data proves it. His biology uses emotion to regenerate tissue. Humanity's power comes from empathy, not infection." Toller's face was stone. "Lies to justify your rebellion. It's not lies," she shouted. "See for yourself. His vitals respond to care, not fear. To connection, not control." Toller raised his staff. "Enough. Surrender or we will use force." Eli glanced at her. "Guess they're not into second chances." Vera turned, her expression calm but strong. "Maybe they just need to feel one." Before Toller could react, she walked toward him and handed over the tablet. "Scan it," she said. "If you destroy it, you destroy knowledge." Toller hesitated. Behind his stern face, curiosity flickered. He activated the device. Data holograms burst into the air, glowing blue and gold. The alien med drones hummed, processing human biological patterns. After a long silence, one of the soldiers whispered, "The readings, they match." "It's not contamination," another muttered. "He heals faster when she speaks to him." "That's impossible." Toller's jaw tightened. "No, emotion cannot heal. It only weakens logic." Vera shook her head slowly. "Then maybe logic has been sick all along." A sudden tremor shook the ground. The sky darkened with the shadow of a larger ship descending. A booming voice echoed through the wind. "Council vessel approaching. All unauthorized units stand down." Toller looked up in shock. The High Council themselves? The massive ship landed, its ramp opening like a silver petal. From it stepped High Medic Zara, a tall Aurelian with glowing white robes. Her gaze was cold but curious. "You caused quite a storm, Nurse Vera," Zara said. "Explain yourself." Vera stood straight, though her heart pounded. "High Medic, the human is not diseased. His body and emotions are linked. What we called inflammation was feeling, and it heals him." Zara's eyes narrowed. "You risked lives to prove a myth?" "Not a myth," Vera said softly. "A truth we lost long ago." Eli stepped beside her. "She saved me. And she's right. Emotions aren't weakness, they're energy. They're life. Maybe your kind just forgot what it feels like to care." Gasps rose among the soldiers. Speaking that way to a High Medic was almost a death wish. But Zara didn't respond immediately. She looked at the data again, studying the rhythmic pulse of Eli's heart projected in the hologram. The reading shimmered like music. Finally, she said, "Strange. When he feels gratitude, the energy pattern stabilizes. When he laughs, the molecules align." Vera nodded. "Emotion creates order, not chaos." Zara turned her gaze on Eli. "Human, do you feel this now?" He looked at Vera, his eyes gentle. Yeah, I feel alive. The hologram pulsed brighter. The readings reached perfect harmony. The soldiers watched in awe. Zara's voice softened. So it's true. Toller stepped forward angrily. Hi, medic, this is illusion. Emotion clouds the mind. Enough, Zara interrupted. Maybe we need a little cloud. For the first time in Aurelian history, the High Medic smiled faintly. Days later, the council made an official statement. The human contagion was not a disease but a discovery, proof that emotion itself could power biological repair. They called it the resonance theory, inspired by Eli's data. Vera was reinstated not as a nurse, but as the head of a new research division, the Human Aurelian Emotional Study. Her name was spoken across systems as the nurse who broke a 1,000-year wall of logic. Eli, still healing, stayed by her side during the broadcasts. When the message played across the galaxy, he laughed softly. Never thought my embarrassment would change science. Vera tilted her head. Embarrassment? Yeah, he grinned. You know, the inflammation incident. Her silver cheeks tinted faintly blue. Ah, yes, your strange human reaction, he smiled. Guess it started everything. Weeks passed. The medbay of Thera 9 looked different now. Brighter, warmer. Humans and Aurelians worked side by side, studying emotions instead of fearing them. One evening, Vera stood at the same observation window where she once watched the stars in silence. Now beside her stood Eli, his arm in a light brace but his smile strong. The stars look closer now, he said quietly. They are not, she replied. But perhaps we are. He looked at her curiously. You're starting to sound human, she turned to him. And you are starting to sound Aurelian. They both laughed, a gentle silence followed. Then Vera spoke again, her voice soft as starlight. Do you know what I learned from you, Eli? He shook his head. That emotion is not weakness. It is the universe reminding us we are alive. It heals what logic cannot. He smiled, eyes warm. And you know what I learned from you? What? That alien's blushed too. She blinked, confused, until he pointed at her glowing cheeks. She looked away quickly, but a small laugh escaped her lips, musical and light. Later that night, she recorded her final report to the council. Subject Eli Grant continues full recovery. No signs of infection. His emotional responses continue to strengthen regenerative ability. Conclusion. Humanity's greatest medicine is empathy. Recommendation. Study emotional resonance between species for future unity. She paused, looking at the stars beyond the glass. Then she added quietly, Personal note, I once believed emotion was chaos. Now I see it as the pattern of life itself. When she turned off the recorder, Eli was already asleep on the recovery bed. His heartbeat echoed softly through the monitor, a rhythm steady and warm. Vera placed her hand gently near the screen. Watching the pulse glow beneath her fingers, she whispered, The heartbeat of two worlds outside. Thera 9 turned slowly beneath the twin moons, its surface alive with faint golden light. Not from machines, but from a new beginning born out of curiosity, courage, and one impossible connection between a human and an alien nurse who dared to feel.